What's up, guys? Welcome back to Inside Out Precision. Before we get started, I want to apologize. I jumped the gun on Instagram yesterday and made a post saying that today's video is going to be my PSE EVL34 build. We did build it. It was an awesome video. I even had this new fancy microphone that I was all excited about. Turns out that microphone was not compatible with my camera, and I did not check to make sure that it was actually working. So I got home, had 2 hours of footage, uploaded it all, then realized there was no audio. So took that one back, got a better one, and today we're going to be reviewing the Stan Perfex thumb release, and the EVL review will drop next week. I'm going to refilm it. So I apologize for that. It was a mistake. I've learned my lesson. It seems like every time I try to do something cool to bow, I have some technical difficulty, but we'll get it figured out, and I will get you that build. Second thing I want to mention is we got these new hats on the website, all leather patches. Obviously, we got the Inside Out Precision hoodie and merch on there as well. So if you jump over to InsideOutPrecision.com, all sorts of merch on there. Check it out. Help support the channel. We greatly, greatly appreciate you. So enough with the shameless plug. We're going to get into today's review, which this is on the Stan Perfex. So this release is actually, it's a thumb button made by Stan, obviously. And in my opinion, like, I get asked so many questions about, like, hey, I'm thinking of, switching from an index style to a handheld. Which release would you recommend? There's a lot of good ones on the market, but honestly, this is, like, hands down probably the most versatile thumb button that there is. So I'm going to kind of go into some of the features. So this is the Stan Perfex long neck, meaning that the neck here on it is longer. They do have a short neck, which cuts off right about like right here. I personally like the long neck a little better. It keeps that string out in front of me while still letting me get this hand back into my anchor point. But they do have the short neck if that's what you prefer. So what makes this really so cool is, like I said, is its versatility. So you can probably see that it looks like a 4-finger. I can actually shoot this as a 4-finger, a 3-finger, or a 2-finger if I want. And it's actually pretty simple. There's this little set screw right on the bottom here. And if I remove that, I can pull this piece out, and it comes with a 3rd finger attachment. So it's, instead of the 2 finger slots here, it's just the 1. So I can shoot it with the 3-finger, or if I want, I can pull it all the way out and just shoot it as a true 2-finger. So whatever's more comfortable to you, this release can do it all. If you have an extra finger, you're out of luck. It doesn't come in a 5-finger option. But in addition to being able to change how many fingers, I can also change the pitch of them. So if I loosen that set screw, I can run these up more to make it a little flatter across here. So you can totally change the leverage and the feel that release has just by changing out these little the little finger options here. On top of that, it comes with this whole pack of, so it's got a larger barrel. So this is the smaller barrel that's on there. It comes with a larger barrel, and then this little post or connector piece that it's onto. It comes with 4 additional sizes. So the one that's on here now is the shortest, and then there's 4 longer ones that come out. So I can put the different posts on there, play with the different thumb barrel sizes, and then I can also, with these 2 little set screws right here, if I loosen those, I can change the pitch of that connector. The reason that I really like that is because everybody's got a different style that they like to shoot the release. Some guys come in and their hand is more relaxed, and that thumb barrel is a little further out on the pad of their finger, so they might run that a little further forward and a little shorter. Other guys, with their hand in that same position, they want that barrel further back up in the pad of their hand here, like that. So rather than having to change the tension of my fingers, I can just change the length and the angle of that barrel and get it way back in my pad, and just, basically as I'm aiming, I just start squeezing these fingers, and boom, it fires. It's a really effective way to shoot a release. And unfortunately, like Carter releases and like the True Ball blade, they might have a little bit of adjustment here, but they don't have all these different connections to really customize the feel. So for me, that is a pretty major selling point. Sorry, my light's falling over. There we go. So tons of adjustability in this. Like I said, you can get one release to do it all. This is the medium size. I have pretty average size hands, I'd say. And this is pretty dang comfortable to me. I like the large too. But when I'm looking at a release, what I don't like is one where my fingers are really, really spread out, because your hand is almost as tense spread out as it is clenched. So I just want a natural position and just be able to bring my fingers right into it, keep that hand nice and relaxed, keep my wrist and my forearm relaxed, and just keep that whole back half nice and relaxed, basically. If you have really wide fingers, like one of our regular customers here, Rick, he picked one of these up the other day, and he's just got meaty hands. They're like the same size as mine, but his fingers are like 1.5 times as thick. And this first finger slot here was really tough for him to get into. So I think he went with the large, but they come in, I think, small, medium, large, and extra large. The extra large is big. If you got big hands, the extra large will definitely fit you. So lots of different options there. Now, in addition to all the cool adjustability on it, there's a couple other really cool features. So the first being, it's this little like shot trainers. They call this like the shot lock or shot saver. So if I pull this little pin out and it just goes right in the, screws into your thumb button, right, or the peg right here. If I pull that out and I cock the release, so this little button on the bottom here cocks it, I can then put it right in this little hole right here, screws right in there, and that locks the sear. So even when I squeeze the trigger, the hook does not open. So this is a really cool feature, actually, because one of the like local guys here, he's a Matthews pro. He shoots the senior pro. His name's Jim McKee, and he's just winning everything right now. I think he just three-peated it at Reading this year. He set like a national indoor record this year for his age division. I mean, he's just crushing it. And he shoots this release. He shoots it back in his palm with the big barrel. And when he's practicing, what he says he likes to do is he shoots what he calls a pseudo round. And so he'll, stand there at 20 yards, just everything normal, load and arrow, all that. But he will literally just sit there and aim and just squeeze until it clicks. And his goal is to not flinch at all when it clicks. He wants to just keep aiming after it clicks. And what that does is it gets rid of that anticipation and the target panic for him. And what he noticed is, once he got to the point where he could just sit there and squeeze, click, and just keep executing the shot, basically, when he actually took it out and made it to where, so I took that peg out. So now when I click, boom, the hook opens. He said it just gives you like the cleanest break and the best follow through, because you're still basically just aiming that bow after it fires, which is what you want to do on follow through. Like I always say, follow through is a reaction, not a forced action. In my mind, the shot doesn't end until the arrow hits the target. Once it's gone, I don't just go like that. It's like boom, shot breaks, and I just want to pretend like I'm still aiming that bow till the arrow hits the target. So by practicing, squeezing, click, just keep aiming and not letting that little click like jar you. Most people it's going to click and they're going to go like that. You work on that and your shots are going to break so much cleaner. It literally can't fail because it goes through the sear and just completely locks it in place. Like that sear can't click and open the hook. So really cool, like it's almost like a training release as well as one that then you can just pull it out and start shooting. So maybe you warm up on your first 10 arrows by just aiming and squeezing until it clicks, pull the pin out. Now you're actually shooting, and those shots are going to break super, super clean. Another feature that I really like about it is that it has both, like lots of releases have trigger sensitivity adjustment, but not travel adjustment. This has both. So these little screws right here, so this the bigger button there is your sensitivity, and the one right below it is your travel. So when you get the release, you want to cock it, take an Allen wrench, and turn that travel screw, that smaller one there, clockwise until the release just fires. It'll make it fire when you get there. Then you just back it off a quarter turn, and then there is absolutely no movement in that trigger until it fires, which for me is really important. Like I hate thumb releases where I can feel that trigger depressing as I'm squeezing, because it builds that anticipation. Like, oh shit, it's about to break. It's about to break. And then you usually end up punching the trigger, or you get that little, dip bang or whatever, and it just sucks. So having a trigger that I can set the travel on to where it's not going to be like, moving at all, to where it's just totally crisp. I just build pressure and all of a sudden it breaks, is really important. And then again, with the sensitivity, you know, I can make this thing like such a hair triggered where like I can just barely touch it and boom, it goes. Or I can get it pretty stiff, like stiffer than I would probably like to shoot it, to be honest. So like I said, on top of being a great quality release, the versatility of this release puts it right at the top of the list. The only other release that I can think of, ooh, burner. The only other release that I can think of that compares to this is like the True Ball Abyss. You know, it's got a lot of adjustability like that. But it's another, I don't know, 60 or 70 bucks over this. And this release, like I said, it can literally do it all. If you want to go 3-finger, 4-finger, 2-finger, you know, long barrel, short barrel, long neck, short neck, like you can do anything with it. So for that reason, the versatility, I think, you know, this release is probably like a, you know, 9 out of 10 in my book. So, and I don't know one that is a 10 out of 10, so that's saying something. So if you're looking for a thumb button, I highly recommend checking this out. Now, so people that are familiar with these, the first generation of these, like this release is not brand new. It's been around for, I don't know, probably 4 or 5 years. But the spring, the travel spring in there, or this spring that, you know, loads this trigger, used to wear out pretty quickly. So guys that were like daily shooters were wearing out those springs in like, you know, 6 to 8 months. And it's a lifetime warranty. You send it back, they'll replace it, but nonetheless, you're sending it back. You're not shooting for 4 or 5 days. So they took heed of all the complaints that they got about that. And the owner was actually in here kind of pitching us these releases. And he said they beefed up that spring a lot. So the life is like 3 times of what it used to be. Any spring is going to wear out over time. It's just the nature of the beast, but this one is a lot beefier. Should give you at least a couple years before you start feeling that travel in the trigger. And yeah, so I love companies that do that. I hate when companies are just like, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. It's a great product. You know, it's like, listen to the consumer, you know, meet their needs, and that's exactly what they did. So if you're looking for a thumb button, like I said, I highly recommend this. They have tension activated releases, kind of like the Carter, like Dudley's Silverback. They have those. It's the exact same handle, but there's no actual button. It's just tension activated. They have hinges. They got a huge lineup of releases. So hop over to Stan's website, check them out. I do not think you'll be disappointed. So if you have any more questions on these, as usual, hit that comment section below, message us on Instagram. We're getting a ton of messages. I do my best to get back to them in a somewhat timely manner, but it might be a couple days, so don't get too frustrated with me if I don't answer you right away. We really appreciate all the support, guys. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, do so. We release weekly videos, anything from coaching to gear reviews to tech tips, like all sorts of stuff. So if you're obsessed with archery, like I am, and a lot of us are, you know, this channel provides a lot of stuff for all you tinkerers out there to start messing with your equipment. So again, we really appreciate everything. Hop over to Inside Out Precision, get yourself some merch, and remember, precision is a decision. Keep them in the middle, and I'll see you on the range.